If the people rewriting Ripley wants to take down are so bad and consistent with their online abuse, shouldn't there be hours of relevant videos and screenshots to use?
Well, there is, but they wanted a quick, concise video. People are more likely to watch something quicker. If you put, like, dude, wait a minute. You were just complaining because rewriting Ripley does these long blog forms where they just give you everything. They give you point by point. Here's evidence of this. Here's evidence of that. And you're complaining, this is too long. Who has time to read this?
And when I say Katie loves long rants, I'm talking long. Here is one titled, When Systematic Hatred of Women Online Goes Unnoticed. What does it say about us?
And now when they do something quick, concise, punchy, you're like, well, this is barely anything. You need more if you want to prove it. Pick a fucking lane. Let's look into Star Wars Theory versus Star Wars Explained a bit. Now, I will give you kind of the cliff notes. Let me I gotta pull up some Twitter stuff, give you guys a rundown of kind of basically what I know. I've heard pretty much exclusively good things about Transformers 1, which makes me kind of regret it was taken off the podcast. It was on the schedule, but then we moved it around for other stuff. And frankly, I was not Transformers, granted, the recent Transformers movies have actually been decent, but it had such a bad track record. I was like, maybe we'll find space for it somewhere else. Maybe we'll watch it when it comes to streaming. We sometimes catch up with stuff like that. So Jacob reposted this. This was something posted by Kyle Katarn originally. I cannot find the original post, but it was this essentially this letter. Dear Team YouTube, last week actor Amanda Steinberg, they posted candid comments to Instagram about the rampage of bigotry and vitriol she had received since leading the cast of The Acolyte, the latest addition to the Star Wars universe. Steinberg's experience is not new. In fact, this is a known tactic that was initially provoked by former Breitbart news editor Milo Yiannopoulos, who's aggressively targeted Ghostbusters actor Leslie Jones under the guise of film criticism. After prolonged insults against her Ghostbusters character resulted in harassment against Jones on Twitter, Yiannopoulos claimed Jones was playing the victim. When she called for action against the harassment, the aggressive gaslighting of Jones' experience resulted in Yiannopoulos being banned from Twitter. 8 years later, Yiannopoulos' playbook against marginalized actors has been burgeoned into a multi-million-dollar business on YouTube, which has been permitted to develop unchecked with the help of YouTube's partner program. This playbook's biggest target, Star Wars. As fans of Star Wars franchise, we have tirelessly witnessed a handful of YouTube creators continuously drive prolonged insults and harassment against marginalized actors and members of our community. Enough is enough. The Star Wars fandom demands that YouTube enforce its community guidelines against prolonged insults and incitement of targeted harassment towards women of color by demonetizing the YouTube channels Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Cannell, RK Outpost, and Nerdrotic. In 2018, Geeks and Gamers, 396,000 subscribers, encouraged harassment against Vietnamese actor Kelly Mi Tran, leading up to Tran's departure from Instagram due to prolonged harassment. Geeks and Gamers published nearly 15 videos relevant to Tran's Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi character Rose Tico. The channel claimed that Tran's character is one of the most hideous characters of all time, the most unlikable character ever, and exists for forced diversity. Many of the comments found in Geeks and Gamers videos can be seen in hateful comments under the Trans Now Delete Instagram post. Geeks and Gamers champion RK Outpost, 319K subscribers, a channel that frequently targets marginalized actors, including Moses Ingram, a Black American cast member in the TV series Kenobi. Days before Ingram called out the racist backlash against her on Instagram, RK Outpost called Ingram a lunatic who can do nothing other than play the victim. RK Outpost has recently referred to Ingram's Kenobi character Reva as dumb and retarded. Geeks and Gamers and RK Outpost frequently co-host the live stream Friday Night Tights on Nerdrotic's YouTube channel, 1.1 million subscribers, where the three channels have made a profitable business reusing prolonged insults against marginalized actors featured in Star Wars, Captain Marvel, and Lord of the Rings of Power, to name a few. Amandla is the current target of this YouTube-based operation. Together, Geeks and Gamers, RK Outpost, and Nerdrotic have led the charge against Amandla even before the release of The Acolyte, producing nearly 40 videos relevant to Amandla and The Acolyte since May. These channels have asserted that Amandla is vapid and narcissistic, the adult pretender, dumb, and half-black bitch. For defending herself against against racism. These channels have gaslit Amanda by claiming she's playing the victim card, with RK Outpost proclaiming, "You've never been oppressed in your goddamn life, you bitch." These YouTubers use racist dog whistles, including angry black woman stereotypes. The hate campaign against Amanda has been so profitable that other major YouTubers have joined the attacks on Amanda, including Star Wars Theory, 3.3 million subscribers. How many more good faith content creators will turn to profitable hate campaign if this behavior is continued is permitted to continue with no repercussions? Action required. The Star Wars fandom refuses to watch another marginalized actor or fan be singled out by a prolonged racist harassment from a handful of YouTubers. As a result of YouTube's inaction, which has transformed hate into a lucrative career path, it is concerning to us that targeting marginalized actors on social media platforms has historically resulted in platform bans, whereas the same behavior made provocateurs millionaires on YouTube. This should be highly concerning to advertisers as well. We understand that YouTube has an important role to play in promoting free speech. However, content uploaded by Geeks and Gamers, RK Outpost, and Nerdrotic is not opinion or criticism. It is prolonged targeted harassment against women of color. We urge YouTube to enforce its community guidelines and demonetize these channels immediately and permanently. Thank you. May the force be with you. And then, yeah, all the sources. This dropped pretty much, this was dropped on September 4th. A whole bunch of people shared it. This isn't the original one. Jacob is just a Star Wars fan. Yeah, I looked over his stuff a while ago because EFAP covered him for liking the Acolyte trailer. Worst crime against humanity, probably. It's terrible. But anyways, yeah, this was shared the same day as this video dropped.
A alarming number of users are exploiting their platforms to spread hate.
Leslie Jones was subjected to incredibly vicious attacks on Twitter.
I don't say anything I don't believe, but of course I do say things in a way that is going to elicit a response from people.
Sparking outrage, spraying vitriol at many, and helping to legitimize a movement of negativity growing on the internet.
There has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it.
This is what the Acolyte exists for. It's not here for story. It's not here to build the lore. For crying out loud, look at the cast right here. This cast was made for having as little white males as possible in this cast.
You know, Lucasfilm, you know, the retarded Avengers assemble over there, backing each other up.
Racists do stick together.
He accused Jones of playing the victim.
Actress Amanda Stenberg playing the victim card.
They can do nothing other than play the victim.
Amanda Stenberg, the adult pretender.
Pathological, sociopathic, feminist liars in popular culture.
Almost like she's fucking lying through her teeth. And it would be one thing if we actually saw some evidence of this, right? If we actually saw some of this shit she's talking about. But no, this is just gaslighting.
These are terrible, talentless people that we are instructed that we must like, unless, and then sort of subtext is, you know, if you don't like them, you're some kind of bigot somehow.
Terrible performance, her attitude, driving away fans, or anything like that. No, it's everyone else's fault, and they're racist, and they just hate me because I'm black. It's all, like, she's so vapid and narcissistic.
It is the most, like, kind of narcissistic, lack of self-awareness.
And she's still bitching about oppressors. You've never been oppressed in your goddamn life, you bitch. Look at that. They got a Derek Chauvin George Floyd memorial. But also every single different race of people has been enslaved and discriminated against and oppressed in some way throughout our entire history. The only people that can't get over it seems to be black people.
I am not a racist, though I'm frequently told that I am one. But I am in favor of oppressing whatever the fuck this is, because...
So that if you remember, that was dropped by Rewriting Ripley. Almost always, I assume there had to be some coordination, but Rewriting Ripley dropped that video, and it was the same day that Kyle Katarn dropped this 2-page thing that I just read out the whole thing. And that, you know, essentially it's like, hey, these channels are harassing people. Shouldn't there be a price? Now, real quick, we just saw that video. I think it might be fun to go ahead and look over. DJ's done this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it for myself.
True or false? If you make a video that compares people to animals or bugs because of their race or nationality, that could result in a strike on your channel. The answer is...
Well, I know the answer is true, but we all know the actual answer is false.
Is true. Hate speech is not allowed on YouTube. We remove content promoting violence or hatred against members of protected groups, including but not limited to race, gender, sexual orientation, or religious affiliation. We may allow content that includes hate speech, like news coverage of world events, if the primary purpose is educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic in nature. But this is not a free pass to promote hate speech, and it's important that the purpose of the video is not to directly encourage violence or promote hatred against individuals or groups. Let's take a look at a few examples. A creator
Very interesting. So, I mean, lots of these creators do this shit. They do. They violate it. But, you know, YouTube seems to turn a blind eye.
Uploads a video using slurs to describe members of a religious group and goes on to say the world would be better off without these people. In another video, a documentary features interviews with people from 2 different religious groups, during which the interviewees use derogatory words. Do either of these videos violate our community guidelines?
Obviously, it's the first one.
Yes. The first video violates our hate content policy. YouTube does not allow use of slurs with the intent to attack, dehumanize, or degrade members of protected groups.
It was insufferable. It is viscerally disgusting listening to this thing prance and dance around screen.
Well, I was curious about what this thing is.
The toy maker's son.
But what about a documentary that shows people promoting hate speech? Would that be okay? To learn that and more about our policies around hate content, go to the
So, yeah. So, clearly, these guys do violate YouTube terms of service, but they really don't do anything. Like, one RK Outpost video has been taken down. It's shocking. It's actually shocking. Now, the fact is, I don't really expect YouTube to have a big reaction because, frankly, these guys make them money. They do. Now, how does this relate to Star Wars theory and Star Wars Explained? So that letter I read initially, and I closed down that tab because I'm an idiot. That letter I read out to you guys, that was shared by Kyle Katarn. But apparently, right now they're trying to push the idea that it was actually made by Mollie of Star Wars Explained, and that Star Wars Explained is doing this secret thing to try to shut down Star Wars theory. And it's all that it's a misdirect. It's a misdirect that these chuds are going for. And that's where a lot of this is coming from. And it's mainly being pushed by Star Wars theory, but there's lots of smaller channels who are going after it. Here, let me go ahead and pull this up real fast. And they're essentially saying Mollie from Star Wars Explained wrote that letter, even though Kyle Katarn posted it. So I don't know why you would assume. Listen, I obviously assume Kyle Katarn and Rewriting Ripley worked together because they released that video and that letter at the same day. So I assume they worked together, and there's lots of overlap between the two. They had to work together. They had to. I don't think that's a big deal to say. But like anything past that, it's like I would assume Kyle Katarn wrote the letter and that Star Wars or Rewriting Ripley edited the video. That's the conclusion I would draw based on nothing else. Just on who posted it. But yeah, they're trying to say Mollie from Star Wars Explained wrote it. And did she have something to do with it? I honestly don't know, and I kind of don't. I mean, I guess if she did based, but like, it doesn't really, like, the letter was posted, so what? Like, and it's worth noting that letter's not even purposely targeting Star Wars Theory. They're acting like it is, but it's not. And it's a misdirect. The other big misdirect they're doing is about how, like, oh, they're just upset over the Acolyte being canceled, despite the fact that none of that stuff directly had to do with Acolyte. Had to do with Mandela Steinberg, that's for sure. But not Acolyte specifically, just she was the latest in the series of actresses to be harassed this way. So that is the narrative as far as I can tell you. So we got like cringe videos like this, whoever Star Wars Owen is, and thousands still unsubscribing from Star Wars Explained. Star Wars Theory Plus, this stream right now. But you're going to see videos popping up going after Star Wars Explained. And in case you're wondering, Star Wars Explained, the actual channel, has done nothing to facilitate any of this. This channel is just Star Wars content. It's interviews, it's talking about James Earl Jones, it's Easter eggs. This is what a Star Wars fan channel is supposed to fucking look like. That fucking simple. Just talk about all this Star Wars stuff. And you will still see a little bit of stuff like this on Star Wars Theory, but you will also see the drama shit as well. Yeah, whatever. This just happened. Ray is on hold, and then that red arrow downward. He's going after a Forbes article here. Demonetized. Star Wars Theory tries to Star Wars Explained try to demonetize Star Wars Theory. My response. Now's really the video that kicked off all this conspiracy stuff. But we're not going to look at Star Wars Theory coverage. We're going to look at Robot Head's coverage. And, you know, maybe Robot Head will be a disinterested third party and just presents interesting stuff. And in case you're wondering, that's Mollie from Star Wars Explained. And that's the thing. So, like, she's a pretty woman. So I get the sense, like, she's just become this focal point where it's like, oh, we can put a pretty woman on our thumbnails because lots of the people who watch our shit are don't really get to talk to women. And then we can also demonize her. Like, she's evil, which is, you know, all fits in with their narrative as well. That's the best as I can figure. But you know what? Maybe he will have a thoughtful discussion to include in this. Because that's what Robot Head's known for, guys. Trust me.
It's time to expose the biggest group of slimy, sleazy, two-faced pricks on YouTube. The YouTubers whose only talent is making mind-numbingly boring content that's
Oh, wow. Is this going to be him being self-reflective? Robot Head, if you're going to go ahead and say it's because he's talking about himself, right? He's got to be talking about himself. Definitely.
suckles at the Disney Corporation's teat in the hope of maybe getting some free toys or a movie ticket, or if we dream really big, a job at Disney. That dream's not coming true. Yes, we're going to look at the Disney shill channels and their distrust and low opinion of their own fan base, and their organised campaign to have other YouTubers deplatformed. Now first, let's get out of the way early.
Wow. Yes, that's what. It's not because you guys lead harassment campaigns or anything. No. It's not because you guys are bullies or bigots. No. It's not because you guys are misinformation peddlers. No. It's just because everybody else bullies you guys. That's it.
Something that the Disney...
Yeah, no, I mean, Byron, I like all evidence, I would say, supports that Kyle Katarn probably wrote that, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to these guys.
Shills hate, something that drives them crazy with jealousy, and that's quickly makes some money for the channel because we can't all live on free Lego and movie tickets. Do you love the Norse mythology characters Loki, Thor, Freya, and Odin? Well,
oh my God, yes, Raid Shadow Legends. As all respectable YouTubers do, they hawk for Raid Shadow Legends. Obviously, Raid Shadow Legends doesn't care who hawks for them, and This dipshit was just yelling at Star Wars Explained for being a shill, and here he is fucking selling Raid Shadow Legends. So, yeah. So, if you're willing to advertise for Raid Shadow Legends, are you going to tell me that you won't do the same for Disney if they wanted you to advertise for them? You are such a fucking hypocrite. Ridiculous.
Using my link or scanning my QR code that's right here, and then once you are in and crushing your enemies, come find my clan, Robot Slayers, and we'll be legends together.
Yay! God damn. What a fucking shill. This is a shill channel right here.
So now that I've finished selling my soul, let's get on to the real problem with all these shill YouTubers and their focus on other YouTubers. Now, you may have seen the video in a
Okay, their focus on other YouTubers. So real fast, we already went over Star Wars Explained is a Star Wars channel, pretty exclusively. Still, I haven't seen them cover any other YouTubers on that channel.
Text that was sent to YouTube calling for the removal of certain YouTubers who are critical of Disney and the direction of Star Wars. A lot of Disney shill content creators banded together to try and remove Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, and RK Outpost from YouTube under the guise of just having them demonetized.
You bastard! Vicious, heartless!
Well, you know, you want to argue like free speech, okay, but fun fact, free speech does not apply to being monetized on YouTube. It doesn't.
Bastards!
Now, even though I do agree with a lot of things these gentlemen say, I don't agree with everything. It would be really weird to agree on everything. A group of people that share the exact same opinion on everything, well, that's what you call a cult. There's also the big problem of Ryan from RK Outpost not liking pineapple on pizza, and Gary Nerdrotic enjoying pineapple on pizza.
Oh, you see, they're just a group of friends. They don't harass people. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the real answer is probably jizz.
As an Australian who comes from a land where pineapple on pizza is common, love me a Hawaiian pizza, you can see that this alone makes it impossible to agree with everything they say. Now, the video and written request to YouTube came from Rewriting Ripley, a podcast/website run by Katie McCourt, who has a history of going on long, unhinged rants against people who don't like Disney's Star Wars, always framing it as an alt-right, misogynist bigot problem. She really only has...
True. That is what it is. Yes, it was actually started by Steve Bannon. It was just kind of a experiment to see if they could essentially influence culture by going after stuff like Star Wars. And as we see on YouTube, it's become quite a thriving business. Pineapple on pizza's fucking epic, Jacob. Watch your fucking mouth, buddy. I will ban you for that. I get it. I'll be honest. I used to think the idea of pineapple on pizza was gross when I first heard it, and then I tried it, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking good."
Script. Pity is that script isn't for Prozac. She also has an obsession with trying to get anyone who's against Disney Star Wars deplatformed. And when I say Katie loves long rants, I'm talking long. Here is one titled, When Systematic Hatred of Women Online Goes Unnoticed. What does it say about us?
So you might notice as he's scrolling through, there's a whole bunch of like data and stuff like that. Maybe sometime I'll go over Rewriting Ripley. I know we've talked about maybe doing that on the Shellcast. It is huge, but it has tons of data points. It's researched. It's well figured out. He's not going to want to deep dive into what they say because it's pretty hard to argue against it once they break it all down. It's really good. But yeah, he's just gonna scroll past it real fast. Duh, it's so loud, or it's so long. Who has time to read this? Well, people are interested in researching it. How dare it be long and well researched? I know. And that's the thing. These guys always argue, hey, you guys don't provide research. Well, Rewriting Ripley has the research right there. Just type it in. It's right fucking there. Oh, that's too long. Well, you can't have both ways. You can't have both ways. I'm sorry. You want fast and snappy, or you want the data points plotted out for you? Pick one. Man, look at all those data points they have. They must have. That's some damn good evidence they have right there.
An amazing read if you want a glimpse into the mind of a lunatic who is trying desperately to fit all of her random evidence into a predetermined outcome. It's fascinating in its blatant twisting of the truth to fit her hatred of people who don't like Disney Star Wars. What makes this particular lunatic?
No, it's actually more about how, this article contains mention of sexual assault, violence against women, suicide, incest, racism, anti-Semitism, sexism. It's all about these hate campaigns. It's not just Star Wars. It does bring up how Star Wars and Ghostbusters 2016 were kind of the early ones. Force Awakens was kind of the beta test, and then they pushed forward more with 2016, Ghostbusters 2016, and Last Jedi. But it doesn't just talk about Star Wars. It's about all these hate campaigns.
Rant so fascinating is that most of the examples Katie shows of women getting, as what she calls, abused online are from other women, as this article is talking about Reylos fighting with shippers, two groups made up of mostly women. But that won't stop Katie, because she spends a lot of time in mental
Well, if I had to guess, going back over it, and look, it's other women. Look, there's fucking geeks and gamers right there, for fuck's sake. D-Day Cobra. Instantly debunking your own point. Good job. But yeah, I'm sure it's just talking about how they've infiltrated that community. It's all about how they infiltrate these communities and just push hatred out and make it seem like the hatred for this stuff is normalized.
Gymnastics showing that even that fight was the fault of the alt-right misogynists. Alt-right trolls and their followers react to Boyega's tweet. Tell you, nothing says alt-right like black women, purple flowers, and My Little Pony. And Katie's
none of that stuff excludes it either. That is, what the fuck?
extremely proud of her want to deplatform and demonetize the people she disagrees with. And she's been talking about it for years.
I mean, there hasn't even really been a call to deplatform or not. Well, no. Actually, as far as I know, there has been a call to deplatform. It's a call to demonetize pretty exclusively, is to my understanding.
Here's a section from her 2021 podcast, In Plain Sight, Part 3. What have we learned from Gamergate? Still going on about Gamergate, with the chapter title...
Gamergate was a kind of... Gamergate kind of came about naturally, and the alt-right, namely Steve Bannon, figured it was like, okay, maybe we can exploit these type of movements, pump some money into them, and actually exploit them to push alt-right messaging. That's part of what the podcast goes over.
Disavow and deplatform.
But this is how the right wing knew how to push the country further to the right. And if you don't think that a lot of this starts on YouTube criticizing a film, again, I just don't think you've been paying attention. That's the way this playbook has always worked. This is only going to get worse. And if we don't stop and realize what we're enabling simply by not understanding it, nobody's being malicious here. We're talking about the safety, the lives, the rights of human beings. There's no both sides there. There's no both sides. And if we don't understand that, we're not going to like what we wake up to one day. So we can have this conversation now, or we can have it again in 5 years. And by that point, it's going to be too late. We need to do
I mean, she's just being based right here. So awesome.
This now. Disavow and deplatform. It's that easy.
In what is a world championship level of zero self-awareness, Katie and her partner...
So apparently she does call for deplatform. Okay. I mean, they don't have the free speech right to be on YouTube either, but yeah. I think demonetization is enough, because if these guys aren't making money off it, they're not going to do it.
On the very same podcast, start going off about the fact that the people they were trying to cancel responded and exposed who they were. Who would have thought of doing that?
I did not expect them to... I'll say it right now, like, did they dox me? Yes. Was it old information? Yes. It's old information, thank God. It was old information. The only thing they got right.
So this is her getting doxxed. So your argument about how she's bringing evidence about how people are harassed by these content creators and stuff like that. And you are now bringing up evidence about how she got doxxed for bringing that to light. I don't think this is the W you think it is, Robot Head. This is proof. The fact that she got doxxed proves so much of what she says is true.
relevant was basically public social media profiles, which is public. So,
Which is public, yeah.
I still went through the trouble of like changing every bit of information.
Oh, okay. So they didn't actually get her personal information. They just released old addresses and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I guess an argument can be made that's not full-fledged doxing, but it still is pretty fucking scary and malicious. And still pretty harassment. Still pretty much harassment.
And going so far as to paying like $300 to try to get my information online wiped out.
That's obviously, this is going to happen if like you're talking about this stuff as a woman on the internet, and that just kind of is what it is. And at some point, yeah, you do just have to take that.
We've got people in our lives that we're trying to like look out for.
Yeah, within 24 hours, the YouTubers that we've been talking about in, the Fandom Menace, Comicsgate circle of things, took it and created videos about it, which is fine. Like, I don't really have an issue with that at all. They survive on outrage culture. I fully expected them to make videos about it, even though we were a podcast with 150 followers. They will find any reason to be upset. If they were smart, they wouldn't have, because it confirms their own playbook. But they're...
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. Thank you, Robot Head, for playing this and confirming that what Rewriting Ripley says is true. Do we need to cover any more of this video? He just debunked his everything he was trying to claim at the beginning.
They're not that smart.
Katie just can't believe someone would do that, even though she's been contacting YouTube for years to get people demonetized. These weirdo social justice liars always want to live by a different set of rules. They're always too self-absorbed to understand their own actions. It is a shame, though.
Well, when you have a group of YouTubers who are being very malicious, and as she just pointed out, they are going after her and attempting to dox her, or are doxing her, that would have her freaked out. And odds are, if they've done it to her, as she said, a person with a podcast with 150 followers, what do you think they do to Leslie Jones? What do you think they do to Moses Ingram? What do you think they do to fucking Amanda Steinberg? The only difference really between those two is that those people are famous and probably have enough money to be able to hide their stuff a lot better, whereas Katie can't. Just saying.
That the Rewriting Ripley podcast died because it really was a home for calm, rational discussion.
And I knew what they were doing, you know what I mean? Like, I saw all this bullshit, constant videos of, look what these girls are doing to us now, oh my god, like, just crying, sobbing, like a child.
Posting your own words?
Yeah, exactly. Grown men sobbing like a child, you know what I mean? Like, to their followers, just for what, subscriptions, for followers, for, I know what they're doing.
I must point out as well that the Disney shills who hate the critics of Disney still use the term the Fandom Menace, a term I haven't heard for years, and it always makes me laugh. As an original member of the Fandom Menace, I was of course included in an earlier Rewriting Ripley video that came out back in 2021, a video that is still proudly pinned to the Rewriting Ripley's homepage. There I am, that's my video, and there, that's mine too. My god, Ryan Kennel was a baby.
Occluding this great myth of the hero.
Last week, author and writer Chuck Wendig was fired.
Politics flows from culture.
Rewriting Ripley's videos are at best a mess, blatantly using random and unconnected clips in an attempt to push a false narrative.
5 years later when
we just watched one of their videos. It was pretty clear, and what was great about that video is that it doesn't even there's no narration over it. It's all just the words of these actual guys, and it told the narrative, the story, the point of the video that was trying to tell pretty perfectly.
And wound up at Breitbart, he resolved to try and attract those people over to Breitbart.
And for the amount of time Rewriting Ripley's Katie spends on hating certain individuals, and we're talking years now, she still struggles to find evidence of her claim of rampant racism and bigotry.
And it would be... Well, that's the thing. You guys will never, ever accept the obvious racism, bigotry, and misinformation you guys push. You guys will never accept it. It's pointless to try to prove it to you, because either you guys are too fucking stupid to know that that's what it is, or you know what it is, and you just like to be like, oh no, it's not, and be like fucking think you're fucking sneaky and shit. It's bullshit.
One thing, if we actually saw some evidence of this, right? If we actually saw some of this shit she's talking about, but no, this is just gaslighting.
And even
Oh, look, she scrolled by a whole bunch of evidence of that. You know, maybe look at the evidence she provides. I don't know.
when she does show anything that could be taken as racist, it's usually a tweet that has no connection to the channels or individuals she's trying to take down.
An alarming number of users are exploiting their platforms to spread hate.
The current video, which has gained a lot less traction than the video from 2021, is truly bizarre. It relies heavily on an interview from 2016 with Milo Yiannopoulos, who has nothing to do with the discussion around Disney Star Wars.
I like how he's trying to frame this as if the video isn't very clear. Milo Yiannopoulos is talking about how they do this campaign to go up against people. Do I still have that video queued? Oh, let's go over this real fast.
An alarming number of users are exploiting their platforms to spread hate.
Leslie Jones was subjected to incredibly vicious attacks on Twitter.
I don't say anything I don't believe, but of course I do say things in a way that is going to elicit a response from people.
Sparking outrage, spraying vitriol at many, and helping to legitimize a movement of negativity growing on the internet.
There has been
So yeah, they're just Milo Yiannopoulos is literally talking about how they do it. Yes, that is not disconnected Robot Head. That's very much a part of it.
2016, 8 years ago, 2 years before The Last Jedi came out, which started all this, with Milo Yiannopoulos.
So I have to assume he's purposely being dense at this point. Purposely being dense. It didn't all start Last Jedi. Yeah, Last Jedi was the big one. I will still... hell, I mean, I say the trilogy of the big ones were Ghostbusters 2016, Last Jedi, and fucking Captain Marvel. And as you might be able to tell, fucking Last Jedi is not the first one I listed. It's Ghostbusters 2016. So yeah, so that was like a big one, but like you could tell they were kind of pushing it with Force Awakens, you know, putting out some feelers. You could tell, you know, the hatred John Boyega got at that time, how there was that racist response when they were you know, doing the one time where I'll actually give them. They did a bait and switch because the trailers in the United States strongly indicate that Finn would be the main protagonist of that series. Yeah. They were, you know, there was a racist backlash to Finn being the lead of a Star Wars movie. And then when the actual movie came out, it kind of switched to sexism. But yeah, these clips very much play into the what she is demonstrating, and she uses it's not her saying it, it's other people saying it.
Whose relevance died 5 minutes after 2016.
His relevance doesn't fucking matter. Holy shit.
And it's not just an interview with him. Tweets from 2016 are also used. But why?
Yes, to demonstrate that what he's talking about is still being done to this day, even if he's not the big one doing it. Other people are doing it. That's the fucking point. He set a lot of the playbook, and now other people are following in his footsteps.
If the people rewriting Ripley wants to take down are so bad and consistent with their online abuse, shouldn't there be hours of relevant videos and screenshots to use?
Well, there is, but they wanted a quick, concise video. People are more likely to watch something quicker. If you put, like, dude, wait a minute. You were just complaining because rewriting Ripley does these long blog forms where they just give you everything. They give you point by point. Here's evidence of this. Here's evidence of that. And you're complaining, this is too long. Who has time to read this? And now when they do something quick, concise, punchy, you're like, well, this is barely anything. You need more if you want to prove it. Motherfucker. Pick a fucking lane.
Why not just use clips from all the people they're trying to take down? Even the comments that whiz by are mostly about the character in the show, or responding to the View episode that Amanda Sternberg guested on, which as far as I know is still allowed.
It is the most like kind of narcissistic lack of...
Yes, Amanda Stenberg's allowed to be on The View. Did you just pick up? What the fuck was the point of saying that? She's allowed to be on The View and people are allowed to comment on her being on The View. But all depends on how they comment. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of like regulating speech or anything like that. But the fact is, these guys do push bigotry and misinformation. And as I've always said, you know, bigotry is just a subsect of misinformation. But it is bad for society because lots of people believe this shit. Frankly, that's the thing. So like people will probably watch this and be like, you know, we got to go to defend these guys. I want you to understand, yes, the people who get harassed are victims, but the fans of these guys are fucking victims too. And, you know, I feel sorry for them. You kind of have to put that aside because they're going to be fucking fighting you. But like, they're victims too. They've been like brainwashed by this bullshit. And it's very frustrating.
Self-awareness.
Katie and her online friends, who are all victims of opinion, are also very good at using specific language to try and drum up support. Language that people with half a conscience or a brain would never use. But no victim of imaginary abuse can victim hard enough in the online world, so we see the repeated use of language like,
a handful of YouTubers have jeopardized the safety of our community and the creatives we love for too long. The Star Wars fandom demands action. Hate should not be a career path.
And to YouTube's initial response.
Yes. Good language will help get your point across and help elicit an emotional reaction. These are useful tools in communication. What the fuck is your point, man?
Response.
Thank you. Relevant videos and channels have been reported. We hope you make the right decision.
Well, YouTube did make the right decision. It was glorious. Thanks for reaching out. Just heard back and confirmed that this content is not violative and will remain up. We totally understand you may not agree with this decision. Little did YouTube know. But we reviewed this video very carefully against our policies. This sent Katie into a tailspin.
At Team YouTube, this is an admission that you have not reviewed our concerns, proven by saying this video when there are 10 plus videos in question. However, thank you for confirming.
Yes, it was a bot response. It was obviously a bot response.
Your inability to take safety seriously, you and your advertisers will be hearing from us soon.
You and your advertisers will be hearing from us soon. Now the unhinged Katie is threatening YouTube. And don't worry, she did try and contact some advertisers who ignored her, but it gets better.
Additionally, I would like to point out at Team YouTube that nobody in Star Wars fandom has requested selected videos be removed, simply that a handful of YouTube channels should be demonetized. The lack of clarity in your response to address our real concerns is appalling.
Simply that a handful of YouTube channels be demonetized. That's all. Just
Yes. In other words, the content can still stay up. It just needs to be demonetized.
simply take away the livelihood of people you don't like. Hey, Katie, no biggie.
Disavow and deplatform. It's that easy.
And I like how the main concern of the videos is the safety of people, but she doesn't mind if the videos stay up, as long as no one makes any money from them.
The only video that I've ever gotten removed from one of these channels, and that was an Ethan Van Sciver comic book, that dude's video, whatever. We already went over this, but I'm saying, like, that's one of the only things I've ever successfully gotten removed. And the thing is like, they just have to chill for 90 days, and then all their strikes go away.
Yeah, it's funny because it's almost as if cancel culture, is not a real thing.
Yeah, while the request...
Yep, that is true.
From rewriting Ripley's Katie McCourt, a person who clearly has social and anger problems, was pathetic on its own. It was the fact that many other YouTubers not only supported the post, but they went out of their way to repost it to YouTube in an attempt to have people they don't agree with silenced. Individuals, I might add, who rely on selling Disney's Star Wars product in the hope of making a living.
So these are people, like, they always call them the shills, but the fact is these are just people who are fans of Star Wars. Listen, you don't have to, you can be a fan and dislike some of the Star Wars. Heck, I still consider myself a Star Wars fan. I just played for you at the beginning of this stream my old video where I was just panning fucking Rise of Skywalker. I don't like that movie. I really don't like the prequels either. There's plenty of Star Wars I dislike. I would still overall consider myself a fan. In fact, when I was a kid, I was much more into Star Wars than Star Trek. And now I'm more into Star Trek. But, like, when I was a kid, it was fucking Star Wars. Fucking the original trilogy was my bang. That was it, man. I loved it. And yeah, you can be a fan and dislike elements of Star Wars. But then you move on and you discuss the things you mainly like. When your whole fucking internet presence becomes, I'm just shitting on things. That is not, it's not helpful. It's not how a fan behaves. When you just shit on stuff all the time, it tells me you're not actually a fan of that thing. It tells me, I guess Dane would use the term anti-fan, but it tells me you are a, God, is anti-fan the best term? Yeah, I guess it is. Because the thing, anti-fan really is the only term that works. Because if you just, saying they're not a fan doesn't work, because if you're not a fan of Star Wars, you just won't fucking discuss it. You'll fucking discuss something else. But if you're nonstop talking about Star Wars and just shitting on it, that's anti-fan. And the reason why Star Wars gets more of a focus is because these guys hate on Star Wars so much worse than anything else. Marvel's getting up there. But Star Wars is still their number one. That's why they're going to do episode by episode breakdowns of fucking Acolyte and shit like that.
How got to be an extra in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hey at Team YouTube.
Yeah, so occasionally these fans will get a chance. Listen, if you don't like that a fan channel gets a chance to be an extra on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you think, you can't trust that channel anymore, then don't fucking watch it. It's that fucking simple.
Enough with the hate-little grifting.
That is Rich from the guy whose whole life has been trying to grift off Star Wars.
Oh, wait, that's a smaller YouTube channel too. That's gotta be really cool for him.
Enough with the hate-little grifting.
That is Rich from the...
So yeah, he's got just under 6,000 subscribers. That's kind of shitty, dude. Gonna specifically focus on this dude. He's got nothing compared to your following, Robot Head. Hell, his following's less than mine. Jesus. And you're just gonna shit on this guy just because he likes Star Wars? It's bully behavior, dude. Congratulations, Robot Head. You're being a bully.
The guy whose whole life has been trying to grift off Star Wars.
What challenges?
That's not what grifting is. Being a fan of Star Wars and then talking about Star Wars on your channel and then getting access to be able to talk to people from Star Wars, that is not grifting. You have to have some sort of lie or con involved with grifting. Selling a fake culture war is fucking grifting, my dude. That's what grifting is. So, in case you're wondering what this guy does, what this Steel Wars guy does, is not grifting. What Robot Head does is grifting. Just saying.
Does Ray face in the new film?
Over a decade of grifting, and
Yeah, great edit there.
still no one's watching him.
Yeah, I think you're right. It might be actual fucking jealousy, because like this guy's not a toxic piece of shit and he's able to get access to this stuff. Robot Head's not gonna get access to this stuff because he's fucking terrible. Not only does he do shitty Star Wars videos that are easily fucking debunked, he also does shitty videos like this that are also easily debunked. He's fucking debunked himself a couple of times, actually, so hey.
Lamp, that is correct, and still...
I want the variation of Space Torch.
We're not going to give you Space Torch there.
Now, you could have thousands of channels on YouTube making videos praising Disney Star Wars, and it wouldn't make any difference to me and my ability to make money on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
But for some bizarre reason, the Disney shills believe that the channels criticizing Disney do.
Okay, so this is the reason why why I kind of end up speaking out about this, is because these guys and their culture war garbage channels have started bleeding out into everyone else's communities. It used to be like, I knew these guys were around pretty much back when they fucking started. I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I knew these guys were around. I ignored them for the most part, because my goal was to, when they were small enough, my goal was just, okay, fucking ignore them, and they will just fucking suffocate and fucking die, because these channels are fucking worthless. And what happened when that happened? That's pretty much what a lot of YouTubers did. Let's be serious. And what happened? They grew, and they grew. And now their fucking communities are bleeding off into everybody else's communities. Birdman talked about this on one of his exposing the grift videos. These guys are just popping up in communities all over the place, and it's like, no, you're pushing bullshit. You're harassing my fans. You are not welcome. This is frustrating, and it needs addressed.
Do affect their ability to make a living on YouTube, as if the channels criticizing Disney are somehow hypnotizing the general public into not liking Star Wars.
Well, a lot of the like Robot Heads fans or Nerdrotics fans, they don't even watch this shit, and you can tell very quickly when you fucking talk to them.
The Acolyte cancellation.
And I'm not saying they have to like them, but like, or they have to watch them, but they should watch it to at least be able to properly fucking criticize it. It's one thing if they just watched like a Nerdrotic review and said, yeah, the Acolyte sucked, and then went on with their day. That's actually fine. Nerdrotic is terrible. He's a terrible reviewer. He pushes misinformation and bigotry. But if you just watch a Nerdrotic video and go on with the rest of your day just going, yeah, I don't think I'll check out the Acolyte. That sucks. Cool. Whatever. It's your life, man. But if you're going to go to other people and you know, online and be like, Acolyte sucks, and just repeat things that Nerdrotic or Critical Drinker tell you, and call people names just because they disagree with you, and just nonstop, you know, send hate their way, that's a whole different issue. That's when it becomes an actual issue.
At what stage of grief are you at right now?
I'm still a little angry.
The shills should give the general audience more credit. They can make up their own minds about current Star Wars. They can also make up their own minds about if the shill content is any good or entertaining to watch, because from what I've seen, it's shit.
How do you know if a Gungan is flirting?
Okay, then don't watch their channels. That's the thing. Like, I don't get, like, issues with fucking Star Wars Explained fans coming into my fucking comments and pushing bullshit. I don't see that. I see that from fucking Nerdrotic fans, from Critical Drinker fans, and that's the issue.
Flirting with you. Jar Jar winks.
Most of these fake clowns couldn't keep Grandma entertained, and she's...
Yeah, it's like a dad joke. Cool.
desperate for attention.
Our YouTube channel and where we started. So we gave it time. We built it up slowly, and we gave videos the chance that they needed to.
She's not even getting a sentence out, and you're like, oh yeah, how dare she? I mean, it obviously seems like it's a live stream format, and you're getting upset that, you know, she's taking a moment to come up with her words because, you know, she's just stream of thought right there. Classy, bro, classy.
Christ, they are boring. No wonder they all get such low views. Every single one of them. I mean, how many subscribers they apparently have. The struggle of...
Yes, because here's the other fun fact. Outrage fucking sells. These guys aren't pushing Outrage, so it's much harder for them to get their stuff out there. But Outrage fucking sells. I mean, hell, you won't look at my fucking YouTube views. If I just post like a review from the podcast, maybe it will get views. Probably not. But if I post me covering Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic, that thing's going to get 1,000 views pretty fucking fast. Outrage sells. It does.
Producing so much bad content in the hope of being rewarded by going to some crappy premiere or getting a...
I don't think that was their goal at all. Where do you get that was their goal? To my understanding, their goal is to make a Star Wars channel, and then they were like, "Hey, do you want to come to this Star?" Now, if you want to discuss the issues with people getting invites to premieres, especially people who are critics getting invites to premieres, there's a discussion to be had, because that will happen, because they'll be like, "Oh, hey, let's bring." Lots of times these corporations will seek out critics who they think will like X movie. And then they'll invite them to a premiere, and then they'll give them all these prizes and gift bags. You know, they'll get flown out there. It'll be like this free thing. And they'll get all these prizes. They'll make sure to give them a wonderful dinner. They'll just have a great time there, and it's all going to cloud their judgment on whatever they watch. It's all pretty much intended to influence them. It's the job of the critic to separate that out and give an honest review of the movie, which can get very hard. And if you want to argue there are issues with that, and people can't necessarily be trusted when stuff like that starts happening, there's an argument to be made. Unfortunately, these fandom menace, anti-fan bullies, toxic, whatever the fuck you want to call them, guys, don't make that fucking argument. They just call them shills and fucking move the fuck on. I don't know, actually address the fucking issue, but they don't care about addressing the fucking issue because all they care about is pushing fucking bigotry and misinformation, right-wing grifter shit. That's the thing, like, it's easy to call it right-wing because it definitely has a right-wing slant, but it's more just grifter, frankly. And that's kind of a large part of what the fucking right-wing is at this point. MAGA is pure fucking grifter under King Grifter himself, Donald Trump. And I'm sure there'll be some comments. Why are you relating MAGA to Fandom Menace? Because Fandom Menace is fucking MAGA. Let's be fucking serious. The Venn diagram of MAGA and fucking Fandom Menace is a fucking circle.
A free toy, or the ultimate being on stage at the Disney Cult Convention must be tiring. I'd like to solve it, Pat. Please kill me. All these pricks are just hoping to remove people from YouTube who are more successful than them. Just look at all these shills. So bloody pitiful.
Yeah, how dare they have fun and go to events? You're not even, like I said, I already brought up what the actual issue could be with this type of stuff, and you don't even want to go near that. Just call them a show and call it a day. Kind of proving that you're kind of just one of the bully channels, Robot Head. Just saying.
Mollie Damon from the wonderful and very entertaining Star Wars Explained, a channel with a history of going after other channels.
So now we're going to actually go over why Mollie Damon's on the thumbnail. Star Wars Explained has a history of going over other channels. This looks like an old video, like a very old video. Where did you pull this from? This is a very old video, right?
Was right on board with the whole demonetizing of other channels. I think she's the one on the left, because I really have trouble telling them apart. For years I thought...
He's hilarious. Robot Head, I think it's interesting you're targeting Mollie Damon, just like these other guys. Why are you targeting the woman? It's almost like you're being a bit sexist, because what's special about Mollie Damon and sharing this stuff? As opposed to everybody fucking else sharing. I shared it, bro. Come after me. Shit. Hey, did I write it? No, but I don't know. You guys call me liar anyway, so who gives a shit?
Thought they were sisters, and I'm still not 100% sure they're not. She, hang on, let's check this. Yes, good to go. She even added that she had spoken at length about this in the past, and added the only way things get better is if Team YouTube does something to
Actually, that message pretty much strongly implies she did not write that letter.
discourage this kind of content. Until then, it will only get worse. I would love to know if any of these ones...
True, it has been getting worse. Their numbers haven't been as good recently, but like the vitriol, the hate, the outright bigotry has gotten worse.
Of people have ever read 1984, and I'd love to know which side they think they'd be on. We all know which side they'd be on. Disney. Anyway, it didn't take long for Mollie. Again, I think she's the one.
Yeah, I love how the right wing is desperate to try to say that somehow they aren't the side that the Nazis were on. Yes, the right wingers are the fascist guys. That's how political ideologies work.
One not in the Leia costume.
I tried to sew last night and ruined it and had to undo everything. And then today you helped me and fixed it.
Anyway, it didn't take long for Mollie to backtrack. Yes, once people started encouraging nerd-erotic geeks and gamers and RK Outpost to sue the online shills, Mollie here must have shit her pumpkin spice because...
Yeah, that I made fun of them for that because Star Wars Theory said something about that they should sue. And it's like, based on what? What? It's a video made up of clips of them. How do you sue for that? Like, okay, technically we're in America. You can fucking sue for anything, but you're not going to have any grounds. The case is going to get thrown out. What is the fucking lawsuit? But he's acting like there was an actual serious threat of lawsuit?
Because she wanted to make it very clear that she did not start any sort of campaign and only shared 2 images.
Thank you for all the love and support over the past few days. It really means a lot. I never started any sort of campaign. I just agreed with and shared 2 images that were created and shared first by another podcast, who I guess want to remain anonymous in all of this. Love y'all, heart symbol.
I thought the guy in the bra looked weak, but Molly...
You know, he keeps on bringing this up. Yes, they did a goofy costume where he is her sex slave. Cool. You know, as long as they're fucking having fun, like you're sharing this as if it's like some sort of fucking own, dude. It's like just them at a convention having fun. Yes, if you go to any fan convention, you will see dudes dressed as Leia. It's not unheard of.
Holy Jesus. And I could have sworn that she didn't just share those images. I could have sworn that she sent those 2 images to YouTube with the instructions that things could only get better if YouTube did something.
Lots of people did. Lots of fucking people. I did the same thing, buddy.
Yes, let's just pretend that all these shills didn't get
You're sharing them. Yes, tons of people did this.
together and plan this out. I mean, they only all sent it out at the same time.
Not only did I repost it, I also fucking retweeted all these things too.
But on a lighter side, it hasn't gone great for the Star Wars Explained since participating in this organised, targeted campaign. Every one of their wonderful videos is getting badly ratioed.
Ratios don't fucking mean anything. When you guys can fucking ratio She-Hulk and Rings of Power, yeah, getting your YouTube ratio doesn't mean anything.
Isn't that a shame?
Oh, and fun fact, downvotes help you in the algorithm. So, good job helping them out.
Anyway, I had a great workout today. Weather is finally cooling off and the pumpkin spice is flowing. Nothing can ruin my fall.
Yeah. How dare she have a good day?
Vibes.
What if someone tried to take away your livelihood, Molly? Would that ruin your fall vibes?
Well, it depends. So obviously you're trying to be like poor Nerdrotic, RK Outpost, and Geeks and Gamers. Somebody's trying to take away their livelihood. Those guys literally push bigotry and misinformation all the fucking time. We already went over the Rewriting Ripley video. That segment, I've gone over so much of their goddamn shit. They do this all the fucking time. If that is how they make money, by pushing shit like that, then yeah, demonetize them. Nobody should be making money doing shit like that.
Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense.
What the fuck is this shit? You've been talking, you talked about Molly for what, the past like couple minutes of your video? Most of it has nothing to do with her. And now you're just gonna call her a narcissist? Because she was one fucking person who shared those letters out of hundreds. You cherry picked her, and now you're like, oh, she's a narcissist. What the fuck, dude? Seriously?
Of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability.
Oh, that describes a lot of the anti-fans. That describes Nerdrotic and Ryan Canal and Geeks and Gamers and Robot Head. It describes them quite well. Are you guys narcissists? Is this a self-report? Like, again, I feel like you're debunking yourself again on this one.
To understand or care about the feelings of others.
Okay.
Yeah, that dude. I haven't seen evidence of Mollie Damon not caring about the feelings of others. I've seen plenty of evidence of you not caring about the feelings of others in this video.
We can't forget about Rewriting Ripley's Katie and her Twitter account. She came out defending Molly in a very bizarre and eye-opening tweet.
Mollie.
Yeah, because people were attacking her.
Damon didn't start any demands to YouTube this week. Other YouTubers involved have a timeline of tweets. They know who tweeted first. This isn't about truth.
Yes, we know, Katie.
It's about narrative and stoking the base. Star Wars Theory,
who Molly and her husband don't like,
is a coward and a liar. I stand with Star Wars Explained.
This tweet.
Based. Good job. Yeah, Katie is correct to do that.
is fucking amazing. The self-delusion, the zero self-awareness, the straight-out lies. This tweet alone explains everything you need to know.
Explain it. Break it down. Where are the lies? Where's the delusion? Break it down, buddy. You just threw words at it, and you need to break that fucking shit down.
Know about Katie from Rewriting Ripley and her shill friends who organised this deplatform.
I mean, again, so Mollie Damon's getting lots of hate right now. And I guess it's because Star Wars Theories said that she was a big part of this. And now she's getting a hate campaign against her. Almost sounds like the things that Rewriting Ripley talk about on their podcast are being proved once again. How many times does she have to be proven right for you guys to admit you're fucking bullies? I guess until you stop making money off of it.
Forming campaign. Mollie Damon didn't start any demands to YouTube last week. Other YouTubers involved have a timeline of the tweets. They know who tweeted first. Yes, Katie, we know. It was you. You tweeted it first using the Rewriting Ripley account. That's your account. This isn't about truth. The lack of self-awareness.
Yes, she did. Thank you for establishing that.
And lack of honesty is staggering. It's about a narrative of stoking the base. Yes, it is, Katie. That's all you have been doing for years now. Pushing a narrative and stoking the base. Using race and bigotry as a weapon.
I like this. Nerdrotic has over 1 million followers. Rewriting Ripley doesn't have nearly that much, and yet this guy is trying to make it out like Rewriting Ripley is like this big fucking boogeyman that's gonna single-handedly take them down. Absolutely bizarre, delusional behavior coming from Robot Head here. Weird. This is weird, man.
In a sad attempt to take down the people you don't like, and it's disgusting.
Disavow and deplatform. It's that easy.
And all these clowns are just too happy to join in. Every one of them a grifter selling garbage.
Okay, you need to explain. Well, this is part of why their fans don't even understand what the fuck the word grifter means. I swear, they think grifter means doing something to make money. So what? I work 40 hours a week. Is that grifting? To work my normal 9-to-5 store job? Is that grifting? No, of course it's not. Grifting is essentially small scale con artistry, and maybe grifter isn't quite the right term to describe a lot of these guys. With their size, are almost like just fucking con men at this point. Yeah, grifter is a comic book character too. True, Jacob. Not related in this discussion, but yes, grifter is a comic book character. But people who are pushing false outrage, false culture war narratives, people who are saying, listen, they're trying to propagandize you. They're trying to push the message. All this stuff is woke. And if you want to avoid the wokeness, watch my YouTube channel or buy my products. Buy my anti-woke comic books. Watch my anti-woke movies. That's a fucking con job.
In the Yord Horde stuff that we got sent, if they have a book with Yord in it after all this and they get rid of it, what's the point?
Don't throw my tissues.
What's the point?
From the very beginning of my channel, I've had stalkers and other channels trying to get me removed. I even had someone make a petition to take down my channel. Sadly, it only got a handful of signatures. That really hurt my feelings. I had to spread the word to get the numbers up a bit. Because, are you anyone if you're not hated? But seriously, a complete stranger wanted to take away my ability to make a living because they didn't like what I was saying about a TV show. These idiots think that's normal. Luckily, they failed. And
well, you're also that's the thing, is Robot Head, is he just, no, he's got to be more self-aware than this. He's got to be. I'm just trying to figure out, is Robot Head just unbelievably dense and fucking stupid that he doesn't understand this shit? Or, is he just lying? And he can't be this dense. He's got to know he's full of shit.
And here's a tip for anyone starting an online petition to have someone removed. Don't use your real name and don't live only 40 minutes away from the creator's house. Boy, did that guy get a surprise when I called him up saying I was coming over to discuss the petition with him in person.
You did what? You did fucking what? That's fucked up. I don't know. Maybe you could send him a fucking email? Fucking called him and said, hey, let's discuss it in person? So you're intimidating him. Jesus Christ, I hope you didn't fucking leak that information. Dude, what the fuck?
That petition vanished within minutes.
People of color.
Oh my God, you intimidate him to tear down the... Fuck. You just proved that you're a fucking bully, bro. Congratulations.
Seeing themselves in Star Wars is so, so important. And, you know, we can't say for sure.
Yeah, this is all sped up. You can tell there's kind of the chipmunk-ish to her voice that isn't natural.
That this show was not renewed because everyone was calling it woke.
I give more credit to the audience than all these clowns do. I don't believe the general public is racist or bigoted. I don't believe the general audience would support bigoted and...
True, I don't believe the general public is those things either. I don't think your fan base is really a representative of the general public. They're representative of the loud minority.
Racist channels. I also don't believe the audience can be tricked or grifted into supporting these channels and watching content they don't enjoy. In other words, I trust...
Yeah, evidence speaks to the contrary. But again, that's not the general audience that watches these guys. It's the loud minority that watches these guys.
You guys. The Disney fan channels, they do not trust you guys. The Disney shills do think that the Star Wars audience is full of bigots and racist fans who are so stupid they can be tricked into hating Disney content. These clowns don't respect the audience at all, which is on full...
Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Like, yeah, lots of people will just talk about how much they hate this shit without even fucking watching it. So yes, they can be tricked into hating it.
Display when they are trying to
gaslighting. Yes, thank you.
Their own audience into thinking that the
gaslight. God damn. He is really reinforcing the whole premise that every fucking accusation by these guys is a fucking confession. Yes, Robot Head, you are gaslighting your audience right now with this video. Very much so.
Acolyte failed for every other reason besides it being a terrible show.
You know, they were given more than just 8 episodes.
Also that, yeah.
Like, they're giving these creators and these storytellers so little to work with.
I don't know if there was over 3 years of promotion. There might have been like conversations. Maybe they did some interviews, but I don't know about that. And also, I don't know how much they put into that promotion. He is kind of showing... $180 million budget for 8 episodes was really pricey, and it probably didn't get the numbers to remotely get that far. But yeah, it only got 8 episodes, 5 hours and 29 minutes of airtime. True.
That how is it supposed to succeed?
Right.
If we don't give it a shot for a larger length of time, you know, let people who...
Yeah, the fact that the TV seasons have been greatly shortened is an issue that definitely should be discussed. But I have a feeling Robot Head's not interested in that.
Didn't watch it every night the moment it came out. Let those people find the show and watch it themselves.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
Thankfully and happily, a quick look at their comments.
Yes. Well, she's right. She's just saying maybe we should give people a chance to discover it and see if they like it before we kill it. I mean, I agree. Like, listen, you can say what you want of the Acolyte. It didn't really get a chance to grow. And the key example I've brought up multiple times, and I'll bring it up again. Star Trek The Next Generation. You want to talk about chunky or rough first seasons? Star Trek Next Generation's first season is atrocious. Sure, there's a couple of good ones, but there are really fucking bad ones too. And it also includes the worst episode in Star Trek history, Code of Honor, the most racist thing ever made.
Would it be possible for Lieutenant Yard to do so, Captain? Some demonstration of defense training?
But these things are not at all unusual with us.
With us, it is the duty of women only to own the land, and the duty of men to protect and rule it.
Maybe not the most racist thing ever made. Birth of a Nation exists, but most racist Star Trek episode ever, for sure. But Star Trek Next Generation was allowed time to grow. It got 6 more seasons on top of that first one. And now it's almost my favorite Star Trek series. It is so good. But that first season is so fucking bad. But it was allowed time to grow and develop. Acolyte Season 1 is nowhere near as bad as Star Trek Next Generation Season 1. But it wasn't allowed time to grow.
Shows that they should respect their own audience a bit more, because nearly every comment under their Acolyte cancellation video is telling them how delusional they are.
Yes. Yes. It's almost like Star Wars Theory put a target on them, and now they have a whole bunch of people shitting on them, as you guys too. It's almost like there's a harassment campaign against them. That thing that you're claiming that you guys don't do, that you're definitely talking about how you're doing right now to them. You know? That thing that Ryan Ripley said that you guys are doing, that you said is bullshit, but you're definitely doing it. Just saying.
With their pro-Disney take.
It's really unfortunate that people aren't even giving stuff a chance anymore, because I think nowadays it's like our attention spans are so.
I mean, is he adding these pictures? I'm a little bit confused. What what One Piece, House of the Dragon, The Boys, what was the second one? What do they have to do with this current discussion
Anymore, because I think
Cobra Kai. Yeah, what do these have to do with what she's talking about? These are series that are successful. And I would definitely say, for the most part, had better season 1s than The Acolyte, for sure. Certainly less expensive, but so?
Nowadays it's like our attention spans are so small and short, and people don't want anything.
I haven't seen that just came out. I have not seen it.
New or challenging.
I haven't seen that one either.
Are you delusional?
Myself and other channels that criticize Disney and their content are just sharing our own opinions. And thankfully and happily, a lot of you guys like to listen to it. We don't sell ourselves as anything but who we are. The Disney shills, they'll always sell them.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like, especially Nerdrotic. I look at some of his earlier content, and it's weird how different he is. It's very weird.
Okay, because, you know, I really dislike the fake geek thing and the poser nerd thing. That's not what we're about. We're about inclusiveness, and we want new people in. And if new people, you know, spout off and make mistakes, hey, don't we all?
Themselves as the good guys, and they'll sell you that crap, all for the pathetic chance of feeling slightly important.
Well, they also don't send their fan bases to harass people, as you were just bragging that you did. You know?
Slightly important to Disney. Trust me, none of these Disney corporations selling shills are the good guys. They work for Disney and trying to silence critics, and they are paid in trinkets and movie tickets.
Hi, Leslie. How are you? Hi, good to see you.
I somehow got to be an extra in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Manny's also coming to DragonCon, which was announced like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I've seen people tagging him and being like, there's an Acolyte panel that we're on with some other people, and I'm like, if Manny shows up to that, I will faint.
Me too. Hold me with those arms.
Room's starting to spin real fast. Because of gayness.
Cool. Classy. Yeah. The reason why the so-called shill channels don't get the hatred or the people saying, hey, this is a problem, is because they don't send out harassment campaigns. They don't target people for harassment. Like Robot Head did, bragging throughout this goddamn video, tracking down a person's home address and intimidating him to take down a petition. Wow. Such a goddamn self-report in this video. This was wild and kind of enlightening. They really don't have much on Mollie Damon, but man, they're targeting her, apparently because she's a woman on Star Wars Explained. And Star Wars Theory talked about Star Wars Explained, so now they have a beef. Wow. Very, very telling.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.